In pop music, there are a lot of times where an album track was supposed to be released as a single, but for one reason or another, those plans never came to fruition. In this video, we'll look at 8 singles that were cancelled. Dance in the Dark by Lady Gaga. When Lady Gaga released the famed Monster in 2009, it was clear she was redefining the boundaries of pop. Among the 8 additional tracks, Dance in the Dark stood out as one of her most experimental and theatrical pieces. Gaga herself seemed to have a special attachment to the song, which delves into themes of inner turmoil. It talks about women who are too insecure about their bodies that they prefer to have sex in the dark. Initially, Dance in the Dark was planned to be the 3rd single, after Bad Romance and Telephone, both of which were huge hits. She even performed the song at the Brit Awards. But things didn't go as planned. Gaga was at the peak of her career, constantly creating and evolving, and her label wanted to keep the momentum going with the safer choice, Alejandro. They feared Dance in the Dark might be too edgy for mainstream audiences, so the single release was cancelled in favor of the more radio-friendly Alejandro. While Alejandro went on to have commercial success, Dance in the Dark remains a cult favorite for Gaga fans, who continue to campaign for its official release even more than a decade later. Greedy by Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande's 2016 album Dangerous Woman was a turning point in her career, showcasing a more mature sound and exploring a mix of genres from pop and R&B to reggae and house. Among the standout tracks was Greedy, an infectious funk-inspired track that showcased her impressive vocal range and ability to deliver a high-energy performance. It quickly became a fan favorite, and it seemed destined to become a single. Despite its popularity, it never received an official single release. Instead, Republic Records decided to focus on Side to Side, her collaboration with Nicki Minaj, followed by the title track Dangerous Woman. While both tracks were successful, Greedy was left behind, relegated to fan favorite status. Ariana herself seemed to enjoy performing it, incorporating it into her setlist, which only made fans clamor for its release. It is rumored that it was supposed to be the final single from the album, but the Manchester bombing killed those plans. Over the years, Greedy has become one of Ariana's most beloved deep cuts, and many fans think it could have been a chart topper if it had been pushed. Breathe on Me by Britney Spears. Britney Spears' 2003 album In the Zone marked a shift in her career, with a more mature sound and bold lyrical themes. One of the album's hidden gems was Breathe on Me, a sultry mid-tempo track that stood out for its sexy vibe and seductive lyrics. Fans quickly identified it as a standout song, calling for it to be released as a single, and even dubbing it one of her best deep cuts. It was expected to follow up every time, but Outrageous was instead chosen as the 4th single, which didn't go well with her fans and led to the song flopping on the charts, peaking at number 79 on the Billboard Hot 100. She was going to release Breathe on Me as the 5th single, but she unfortunately got a knee injury that sidelined her for a while. Despite its popularity and fans' hopes for its release, it remained an album track, leaving fans wondering what might have been if it had received a proper single release and a music video. Chihiro by Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish released her latest album Hit Me Hard and Soft on May 17, 2024, with Lunch as the lead single. Chihiro was the album's first promotional single when Billie teased it on her Apple Music interview. She also previewed it on Fortnite. The title is a reference to the main character of the 2001 film Spirited Away. After the release of the album, Chihiro debuted on number 6 on the Billboard Global 200 chart, but slowly started falling away. Its music video, directed by Billie herself, was released on June 6, 2024, and it felt like she was gearing up to make Chihiro the 2nd single. But Birds of a Feather started gaining traction and became a huge streaming hit and was released as a 2nd single from the album instead. And now Wildflower is gaining traction on Spotify, getting huge streams each week. It looks like it's on the way to become the next single, leaving Chihiro by the wayside. It is seeming like it's not going to become an official single, despite what many thought when the album was released. Backstabber by Kesha. Kesha was known for her rebellious party girl image, and Backstabber from her debut album Animal fit that mold perfectly, with lyrics calling out fake friends over a beat that mixed pop and hip-hop. It felt like an anthem that would fit the era perfectly. Fans loved the song's catchy and in-your-face lyrics, and the buzz around it was strong enough that it was planned to be a single, maybe to follow up TikTok and blah blah blah. But Backstabber never made it as an official single. Your Love Is My Drug was chosen as the third single, possibly due to shifting strategies, or Kesha's team opting to promote it instead. It did very well, but some fans felt Backstabber's fate was tied up in her ongoing battles with her record label, where Kesha's creative control was often a contentious issue. Despite its cancellation, the song continues to be a memorable part of Kesha's early work, and it still remains a fan favorite. Who's That Boy by Demi Lovato featuring Dev. In 2011, Demi Lovato was going through a public transformation. With Unbroken, she returned with a sound that was a departure from her earlier Disney-fied pop rock roots. The album's first single, Skyscraper, was a deeply personal ballad that connected with audiences and showed Demi's vulnerability. But the plan was always to follow it up with something more upbeat, and that's where Who's That Boy comes in. The song had all the ingredients of a pop hit, featuring Dev, who was fresh off the success of Like a G6 with Far East Movement. The song was playful, catchy, and aligned perfectly with the electropop trends of the time. It was primed to be a radio hit. She even performed it on Good Morning America. However, Demi's personal struggles and Dev getting pregnant around that time ended up putting the single's release on hold. She and the label opted to release Give Your Heart a Break instead, which eventually became one of Demi's biggest hits. But fans still wonder how Who's That Boy would have fared if it had been given the single treatment. Come to My Party by Charli XCX. Charli XCX is no stranger to ambitious projects and edgy music that pushes the boundaries of pop. In 2017, she was working on her much-anticipated third studio album, XCX World. Come to My Party was slated as the lead single, and its synth-pop style captured a carefree, fun-loving vibe that was the signature to Charli's image. The song was even teased by snippets online, generating buzz among her fans, who were eagerly awaiting its official release. But Charli's third album encountered delays and ultimately got scrapped due to label conflicts, and Come to My Party became a casualty of these behind-the-scenes hurdles. The decision was a blow to Charli's core fanbase, who loved the track's vibrant energy and production. Many saw it as the song that could have cemented Charli's place in the pop mainstream. Despite the setback, the song did eventually leak, leaving fans wondering what could have been. But she's getting her moment this year, so it all worked out. Mobile by Avril Lavigne. For Avril Lavigne, Let Go marked her explosive debut in 2002. The album produced massive hits like Complicated, Skater Boy, and I'm With You, quickly establishing Avril as the face of pop punk. But one track on the album that often gets overlooked is Mobile. It was originally planned as a single, and it even received a music video for certain international markets. But by this time, the album had already produced several successful singles, and with Avril's star rising quickly, the focus shifted to preparing for her sophomore album. Despite not being a single in the US, Mobile gained a cult following. The song's relatable lyrics and catchy melody made it a fan favorite, and many felt it could have been a huge hit if it had been given the same promotional push as her other singles. Instead, it remains a hidden gem in Avril's discography. Which singles that were cancelled did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.